Welcome back to Let the Story Write Itself. I'm Sarah. Today I want to ask, are you fully present in your life, or are you waiting for the right time to start living the way you really want? Or even noticing the signals as to what life is pointing you to? Are you fully present and allowing life to unfold, or are you somewhere else? I know what it's like to wait. There was a time I thought once I figured things out, then I'll start. When I was just completed university and I was thinking I need to start doing this. I need to make sure I have a career. I need to get on that path that in my mind I was logically thinking this is the way that things should be, rather than realizing that life is in every single moment. It's not about any particular destination, and it's not even about what you're particularly doing. It's really about who you're being. So looking back, it was the days when I just simply threw myself in. Like I lived just purely from the heart, living from that level expression, being fully present, simply being essentially, almost like you're a kid again and you don't have an extra agenda. You're not trying to complete a task or a goal. You're simply being. You're just playing. You're allowing your natural essence to shine through. When I let go of the need for a plan and fully engage with whatever is right in front of me right now, which is what children do so easily and naturally, which is why I always say that my child self is the wisest self, the one I always look up to, even especially when I was in university. I was like, how did I get myself in this situation where my child self, those so like the such the raw, pure, authentic, innocent, wise self would not be in the situation right now. I just could not see my childlike self being told to go to university or even going and doing that out of her own natural instincts anyway. So this is what shaped my future the most. It's simply being present. It's simply allowing myself to just be. And almost to that childlike state of wonder and awe and being. So, my question to you today is, what is today preparing you for? And the subtitle, throwing yourself in all the way to get the full benefits of the present now. In this episode, we're covering how committing fully to the present moment leads to the results you want, even if you don't necessarily define it. It's simply who you are being. It's your natural essence that's attracting what you might not even be able to define. Why the right time is a myth and how you can create momentum right now. Because time itself is also a bit of a construct. It's not about a destination, it's about embracing the current moment. It's the present that holds the key to everything that you want. The simple ways I learned to stop hesitating and start getting more out of every day. It's just simply being in your life moment to moment. It's like there's not a precious moment of life to be wasted. This one precious life, every moment counts. You'll hear how my path started coming together when I leaned into what was right in front of me, and not when I waited for all of the answers, not when I was pouring through all of the what color is your parachute books or trying to talk to counselors and try to intellectualize and try to figure out something that was not even, it was like a figment of your imagination. It's like you're trying to create this almost like something that is not even there, and you're trying to make something real that isn't actually real. I was trying to be like, I need to figure out a career right now. I need to have this clearly defined. I need to take, some kind of I need to someone to tell me this is the path you should take. This is the career that you are meant to be on. This is how you feel like you are now a full-flown adult who has just graduated with a degree, right? And all of this just felt so almost like you're looking from the outside in, like you're trying to almost magically force something into being that so in some ways I felt very much like a ghost. Like I was there in body. I mean, no, I was there. Yeah, I was body there, yeah, but there in body, but not in mind, not in spirit. Because essentially, what's really true and what's really real, you need to bring your emotions and your feelings on board with you. You cannot just be simply thinking from your neck up and in your logical mind, okay, this is la la la, what I need to do, and this and this and this. You need to feel into your heart and your emotions and let your spirit lead. So these are some of the ways that being present actually prepares you because in my previous episode 39, I talked about leaning into intuition, allowing myself to surrender and trusting that unknown, allowing the path to unfold, essentially expanding into my journey through simply being. So it was like a totally different approach than how I had allowed myself to go through university, which was very much a more logical decision, following what I thought I should do, what others were telling me to do or suggesting, recommending, that type of thing. And instead being like, you know what, I just did that for the last 5 years. I am totally doing something else this time. I am going listening to myself. I am going to allow myself to just simply be more fluid and surrender more to that inner voice, essentially, that voice that I heard at 17 go travel, but I didn't listen to. So, what today is preparing you for, you may not actually know it in the moment, which is why actually just being fully in the present moment and not having to analyze it or think too much or try to put all the pieces together at this very moment, but simply throwing yourself in with that full abandon and that full trust and that almost like that giving like this feeling of appreciation for life itself and be like almost like you're doing God's work in every moment and just being like, you know what, I don't know what it is, but right now I really feel like I'm being called to do this right now. And whatever I do with my whole heart. And when you approach life in this sense, you you move through life in a very wholehearted way. And whatever comes next, it's like you're building the foundation with your every move. Every day is setting you up for your next for the next for the next moment, even when it feels ordinary. For example, all those times where I was simply wandering through my hometown, allowing myself to go to new places and follow my curiosity, let my intuition lead. I know it led me to enroll in a group psychotherapy program, start using my voice more, enroll in Toastmasters, led to the 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat, move through various jobs and just essentially get a whole lot of life experience jam packed into like a couple of years that I never had like prior to that. And almost then lead to like door to door sales and this newfound confidence in my own skills and abilities that I now was more on an entrepreneurial venture rather than that employee mindset, essentially. So these decisions that I made during this time following university, traveling solo, investing in myself, trying new things, these didn't necessarily make sense on paper. I didn't know how they all fit together, but each step was building my confidence and showed me that I could trust my choices. And the way that I move now is very similar to how I was moving then. This was me reclaiming myself. This was me simply being who I was all along. That very naturally curious, independent, free-spirited being, strong-willed. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. That's very clear to me. I have a very strong inner authority on my own life choices. So you can imagine that it was like a tug of war within me when I was in the university that I never felt like it was my true choice to begin with. So now that I was finally doing all this, the moving as I felt called and surrendering to that voice within and allowing that natural trust in the unknown is very much how I move even today, nearly 2 decades later. So whatever is showing up for you in the present moment, what is today preparing you for? Essentially, whatever you're doing in the present now or you feel called to, somehow is already tied with your future self. Here's the thing, a lot of what you do does not change. Who you are being is quite constant. The question is, are you being who you truly are? Because who you are is already a gift in itself. You are made perfect. Whatever you're naturally called to, your natural gifts, your instinctual desires, your intrinsic, innate soul calling, that is already what you're meant to do in this world. So why would you tarnish that? Why would you stray from that? Why would you try to mar that or make it something that it's not? Why would you not allow that to shine through as the true gem, like in its purest form and allow that to write your story for you essentially. So when I finally hit on that particular goal essentially within me that was kind of touched on at that time at 17 when it was that voice told me go travel. It was already hinting at me what I'm naturally good at, like what my soul purpose is. That traveler's soul, that free spiritedness, that ability to trust in the unknown, to allow myself to simply move with intuition and that carefree abandon essentially, that independence, that spirited nature that I naturally have. These are all characteristics that have been in me all along. And it was just when I finally like, allowed myself to, that whole reclamation of moving as my true self that is already present since childhood. That is essentially what coming to home to yourself is. It's allowing yourself to move without the constraints or the constrictions or the distortions from outside voices or the outside world. And that's really where you see the magic appear and your path starts to unfold more naturally according to who you are and your own natural gifts. So throwing yourself in, sometimes, there are times that I wanted more certainty, or I would think like, oh, if only this could feel more certain, thinking that something outside of me would give me permission or a greater sense of security, but that's just an illusion. The biggest breakthroughs happen when I just simply take action in the present without necessarily knowing, without necessarily having that certainty, even if you don't know what would come next, because it's acting from that intrinsic motivation, that whole differentiation, that whole distinction between who are you being versus what are you doing. That's what it is. It's like you're moving according to intrinsic innate purposes, not for any particular outcome or thing you think you should do. And that is actually the entire difference here. When you're simply moving as a child would, that childlike innocence in nature, that candid beingness, that's where you see that natural flow that you have, since you're a womb and when you're a baby in your mother's womb and you come into the world and you have that natural innocence and ease and flow until at some point that gets disrupted. And if you can just go back to that state of, before you entered into a state of disruption and your energy got all contaminated by like outside voices and you should do this, and you start operating more from your neck up and disconnecting with your soul and your feelings and your purpose, and you start operating more from your logic and your mind, and now you need to bring it back home to who you really are and to your whole hearted self and bring your whole self on board, integrate it all, essentially acting from that place of integrity. That's when you don't need to have an outcome in mind. You just simply are. You're just simply being. You're not hesitating. You're not waiting. You don't need certainty because you just simply are. You're just like a childlike, you're in your childlike state. And that's a beautiful thing. So committing to the present. The moments that changed my story were never the ones where I played it safe, per se, whatever that means. Like, hello, going to university was the playing it safe for me. It was the, okay, I'm doing this because this is what it feels like. This is what I'm told to do. This is what feels like the safe path. But following university, that was not an option for me because I was like, there was a hard no. There was like a line drawn in the sand. I was like, I have completed this degree. No more. Tabula rasa. New blank slate starts here. That's where I enrolled in the group psychotherapy program. Even when the intake counselor was like, shouldn't you be applying for a job right now if you've just completed university? Not applying for group psychotherapy, but I knew something in me knew. And it was about getting in touch with that inner voice, speaking from my heart, and, you know, understanding the stories of my personal experiences. That's where the gems live. That's what I'm interested in. You know, stories have always been something that I loved. English was always my favorite class, reading short stories, writing those essays, those thesis papers, whatnot. That was always the class that I gravitated to the most. There are, the, when I decided when I just allowed myself to be present and just be like, you know what? No particular plan. I'm just going to enjoy this day according to how I feel like moving. To me, like almost every day became like a travel adventure, even when I was just in my hometown. Because when you're on travels, you kind of just allow yourself to simply wander and be led by your curiosity. Maybe you stop in here, you check this place out, you really observe, you notice things. You're not just going through the motions of the day. I became a traveler at heart in my day-to-day life before I ever started going on journeys around the world because that was what I was practicing. That's what the present moment was showing to me. How to just simply live from your intuition, how to simply be more present, how to simply surrender to the moment, essentially. Letting go of perfection. It's nothing has to be a certain way before you start. There's not you just, a child just simply is. Like they're not setting up like I need it to be this way. They're just moving with it that, just that beautiful natural innocence of childhood. The magic isn't simply just being. It's just going about your life in a state of play, in a state of joy, in a state of that free spiritedness. And pivoting, adjusting as you need to. You don't have all the answers right away. You just, children give attention to one thing, and the next thing you know, their attention is towards something else. Maybe they go back to the other thing. They're not really locked into particular rules or ways of being because they are moving with their instinct. And some so I wanted to provide some actionable takeaways from for this episode about how you can really be more in the present and whatever the present is a gift. As the word present, synonymous with present, gift, the gift is of today. What is today actually preparing for you for? You might not actually see the whole staircase, but whatever your intuition is calling you to, whatever you feel called to, whatever is really lighting you up with from within, that warmth and that fire that's like blazing in your heart or whatever, and that you really resonate with, even if it doesn't sound logical or if it doesn't really fit into a particular plan on paper or whatnot, that's really where the beauty and the magic, that wildness exists. Is that realization that you don't need to have it all figured out. You need to simply allow yourself to play. You need to simply allow yourself to be present. What is today preparing you for that if you were not allowing yourself to simply throw yourself into fully and be present in that state of mind, that you would not be creating the foundation for the next step, essentially. So pick an area and go all in, essentially. When I finished university, I was like, I'm using my voice more. I'm allowing myself to go into the places and spaces where I can speak from my, all the stuff that I felt I had pent up energy inside that was not coming through and just simply doing coursework or speaking from a more intellectual approach. I was like, I really need to connect with my soul more, that inner reclamation. So for me, this whole part was like a healing journey. So for me, this was really actually, whether I said it aloud or not, this was like the core focus for me following university. It was reconnection, reclamation, re reconnection, repurposing, finding out who I really am again, becoming my own person, and really going on that soul journey that I felt was tremendously lacking from my time at university. And decide that this is your new state of being, that this is this is who you are today. It's not someday, it's now. I defaulted, I deferred. That whole time I was at university, it felt like I was not truly living life. I was kind of just doing the thing that I felt like I had to do, but I was not truly present. So, where can you truly be present and go all in? Take immediate action. Find that one thing that you are feeling called to and just do it today. You know, don't make it, put it off as something someday, big or small. Do it today. I allowed myself to simply go with flow. I went to a Vipassana meditation. I decided to do door-to-door sales. I allowed myself to go from job to job and not be locked into any one thing whenever I felt a curiosity to something else, or I felt like I had completed whatever learning experience or that I wanted to know from one place. That curiosity led me throughout, the 16 jobs that I had in the 2 years following university, and just like a whole jam-packed experience that I had in that period of time. I allowed myself to go to group psychotherapy, and speak on more personal matters and enroll in Toastmasters and allow myself to just go around my hometown like a fine-tooth comb. Like I was a traveler in my own city, really going places solo for the first time in my life rather than being driven everywhere, and allowing myself to wander as you would be pulled by curiosity and intuition. as you would if you were a traveler in a different country or city and actually legitimately gone there to travel. It's like I was just bringing that into my everyday life. And in doing so, you're whoever you're being now is essentially your future self. Because I truly believe that when you simply surrender to what your intrinsic innate instincts are, this is your soul blueprint. This is something in you that's eternal, that keeps returning time and again. The voice I had at 17, go travel, though to me didn't make logical sense to my mind, was there all along. I'm a traveler in my soul. It's like I'm a free spirit at heart. I'm an intuitive being. These are all everlasting qualities within me. This is not something that I can control per se. It's just something that I return to over time and again. And this is really where that what that reclamation was about. It's returning home to yourself. It's allowing yourself to live in that ease and that flow. That's why it felt so easy for me. It felt like a deep breath that I was not like struggling to fit myself or force myself to do something that was not my natural way of being, which was the whole going through university. It felt like I was having to be someone that I was not naturally. So when I finally allowed myself to just be that traveler, this felt like a deep sigh of relief because this is who I naturally am at soul. This is something I don't have to try to be. It's just somehow something that naturally flows as part of my self expression. So, what would you do right now if you didn't have to do anything in particular? How would your natural being simply move? This is the most authentic self. This is, if you continue on this thread, this is essentially your future self because who you are being now is who you are in the future. And allow yourself to just be that version that is the most authentic, your childlike self, the self that is not even trying to be someone, that is simply being and not just doing. So be present. Take some minutes to just simply reconnect with who you really are. And this really shouldn't take any particular effort because it's the most effortless thing to just simply breathe, to feel like you're just allowing that natural soul expression to come through and that focus becomes more clear. Notice what's actually happening in your life, not just what's in your head. Like, what are you actually feeling? What are you actually noticing? What do you actually feel pulled to? What is actually literally calling to your attention right now? Be more observant. What is actually happening in your life right now, not just what's in your head? What was actually happening in my life? I was like, you know what? I'm just feel called to all these different jobs. I was worked as a baker in a greenhouse, um, and various admin and reception, and I even tried to wait. I just tried a whole bunch of jobs that I never had a job when I was in high school or even university. And I was just like trying a whole bunch of stuff outside after following, instead of actually pursuing like a big girl career, if you want to call it or whatever. I was just having like all these fun jobs that I just felt called to. So in my head, I was like taking all these career quizzes. I'm like, man, I need to go back to school. Maybe I need to like have this so-called title. So I was like a little bit hung up on like what a career title, an occupation. When someone asks you, oh, what are you? You have like this neat, nice title that you can tell people. So that was like something that was very much like in my head. I was like, I need to have like some kind of a freaking title that I can tell people this is what I do. And hear what is actually happening in my life, that I just wanted to live out all these experiences. Like I just wanted to experience a lot of things and I have that curiosity and that innate feeling of like, you know what, I just want to go work in a bakery right now. You know what, I like plants. Maybe I just want to go and see what it's like to work in a greenhouse and just be surrounded by that sense of serenity for a while. Maybe I just want to go and find out what it's like to be a receptionist in a dental clinic or something like that. So there were all these different things that I was operating from this heart led place because I was truly asking myself, what do I actually just want to do right now? For no particular reason, just to satisfy a curiosity, just to satisfy a feeling of like, you know what? I never got to do this at one point. Let me just try it right now. Let me just do this. So it's like not just what's in your head, like that whole like I need to have a certain title or a certain career or something that will match the degree that I just completed. That was more in like the heady space, right? That was not really what I was feeling in my heart. And that is the big difference. The key is what was I actually feeling? And then I just like, you know what? I don't really want to be driven everywhere right now, even though that would look better. I just want to go and wander. I started riding my bike more. I started taking the bus. I'd never taken I didn't even know how to use the bus before that, okay? And I started going like downtown. Like I really ever went downtown in my own hometown because I lived like at home in like more of a suburban area. And I was just like very much in my own bubble, right? Now it's like really feeling the call. I'm like, I just want to explore. I just want to go see, experience more of life outside of just like a home or this bubble, like a school setting that I had, or, just like I was just essentially getting out of my bubble. And that's where my own intuition was leading me. It was just like exploring more, experiencing more, getting so much more richness out of just living life, and rather than thinking of what I think I should do, essentially. So at the end of every day, ask yourself, what did I do today that I really truly feel grateful or appreciative for? I always like, I remember there were moments where, objectively, you don't think that taking public transport is like that. You would, maybe you would think on paper it looks better to just have your own car or to be driven somewhere. I always felt such an immense feeling of gratitude when I was just like sitting on the bus. I was like, wow, I feel like I'm just in the midst of, I don't know, I just get so many downloads sometimes, just like when I'm just like allowing my mind to wander, I'm not thinking of anything in particular. And there's like stimulation of like different activity going around, and I'm exposed to like different types of, just like different experiences in life that just somehow I feel a certain feeling of gratitude. I don't know, like when sometimes when you were traveling and you're just kind of like a full day out and about, you're just exposing yourself to new environments and immersing in new experiences, and you're taking various commutes and transport options. Maybe you're walking, you're biking, you're doing this and that, you're just exploring all these different nooks and crannies. And then I don't know, just something about it, but it just feels like, like you've truly like given your all in some way. Like you're truly just present, you're observing. There's like a whole heartedness toward in it. So I always say that I was just like traveling in my own hometown during this time. And there was like an immense gratitude, even though there's nothing in particular that I doing, like that I would just like, oh, I did this today or whatever. It was more just this way of being. It was like this feeling of being of my free spirit itself, my traveling, that traveler archetype almost. And this feeling of allowing myself to just move with curiosity and intuition and flow and surrender and allowing. And it's in that state of being that I feel is where that state of appreciation and awe and gratitude comes in. It's not from an like, okay, I did this today and I did this and a checklist or whatnot, or doing all the right things. It was simply being in that state of heart, of soul led wonder and curiosity and expression. And that's where I felt like this sense of celebration and sense of aliveness. And it became like this intentional practice, like this, it felt so good. It felt really good because it felt very fulfilling in my heart and soul, something that obviously felt the antithesis and antithetical to the my experience in university for the most part felt quite hollow and empty in many ways. And now it's like returning back to my true self that I felt very, vibrant and alive and fulfilling and soul led and heart led and all the things. So the path unfolds in the present. What what is today preparing you for? Every move you make today shapes your future. And this isn't something that like you have to answer because your body already knows. You just have to move with that innate wisdom, not think about it, just simply move with it. Even if you can't, if you don't, the whole thing is you're not going to have a plan. You don't have to know the plan. You just, as a kid, when a child is playing, do they have a whole master plan, or are they just playing from that sweet surrender and expression? And so, there's no perfect time. Stop waiting for a perfect time, the most well-crafted plan or whatnot. The only way to build your story is to live it, to feel it, to surrender to it. All in now. If you're ready to go deeper, take the realm quiz over on my Instagram at Sarah Fair, or reach out, DM me to find out ways that we can work together or private mentorship. Start now, not later. This is episode 40 of Let the Story Write Itself. What is today preparing you for? The full benefits of being present now. Go all in. And that is episode 40.